Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear senior students of all tracks, science, arts, and commercial or business, welcome to this revision session of the Eng302. This is Mr. Samir Abdul Hamid Abu Halaba, and this revision session is prepared under the supervision of the English coordinator, Mr. Said Al-Badawi, and of course under the supervision of the school principal, Mr. Yasser Ibrahim Bani Hamad. Let's go. Before we start, let's look at some of the tips that you need to bear in mind before taking any exam. Take a deep breath and relax. Relaxation is very important. You don't need to be under pressure when you are thinking for an exam. This will make you focus more and get to the right answer more easily. Read all the directions carefully. Read the directions on the exam paper before you start answering. You need to know whether you are going to answer only 2 questions or 4 questions or 3 questions and so on. Read the questions carefully. Then you need to read the questions that you are going to answer carefully. It might be asking you to choose the right answer. Some questions ask you to choose more than one option are correct. So it's not only one option. 2 might be okay. Or sometimes you might be asked to remove the only incorrect answer from the group of options you have got. Make sure you understand what is being asked. Do not rush into answering before understanding every single word in the rubric of the question. Look at all of the choices before you answer. Don't rush to circling A before reading B, C, and D. A might be partially correct, but D might be the one that is required, the fully correct answer. So please do not choose from reading just one option. Read all the options before you decide. If you don't know the answer, try this policy. Eliminate the answers that you know are wrong. You might not be sure of the right answer out of the 3 or 4 options, but you are sure that B and D are completely wrong. So eliminate them and focus on the rest of the options until you reach the right answer. Check your work for accuracy. Don't just finish answering and submit your paper. Please proofread. Read what you have written once again. Check your spelling. Check your grammar. This will make you sure that you will lose no marks. And always do your best. You are all great students and you can do it. Next, let's look at the exam format. Our exam is made up of 4 questions. Question 1 is going to be listening, and there are 10 marks for this. The second one is also listening and another 10 marks. The reading comes next, and this one has 20 marks. And finally, the writing is going to be also 20 marks. Remember that you are going to have 2 writing tasks to choose one of them. So you are going to write only one task, but you will have the choice to choose A or B to write about. These are going to make 60 marks altogether. We add them to the 40 marks that you had during your classwork, and this will make the 100 marks for this Eng302. Well, let's take some tips about the listening. What are the things you need to pay attention for when you are doing a listening test? Read ahead. Gentlemen, please read the question before you listen. This is very important. In the beginning of every listening track, you have this. You have 1 minute to read question 1. You have 1 minute to read question 2. And you have all silence for you to read carefully before you start answering. This helps you get to the right answer easily and quickly. Try to guess answers. If you have a question where you need to add some information. You need to fill in gaps, for example. Read the question beforehand and try to guess what is missing here. Is it a number? Is it the number of people doing something, for example, or it is the amount of money, the length of a road, or the name of a place, and so on. This will help you get, again, easily and quickly to the right answer. Write the word you hear. Do not rephrase. Please don't write your own words in listening. The word you hear is the word you are going to write. So in case you hear the word house, please do not write home. Write house. Even if they are similar in meaning, but they are not the same. So please follow and write the same word that you will hear in the listening track. What if you get lost? It's okay, it happens. Just keep calm, don't get nervous, and move forward. Then you are going to listen again. This is not the IELTS, this is our normal exam, and here you will listen twice. You have 2 times to listen, not like the IELTS where you have only 1 time, so you need to focus more. Here you can be relaxed, and if you miss something in the first place, in the first listening, you are going to do it in the second one. Listen again and check your answers. You can answer the questions that you didn't do and check those that you did already. Gentlemen, please, this is very important. In true or false questions, use one sign only, either T or F. Okay, either T or F, because sometimes we have this answer in the exam. This answer does not take any mark because it can be read as T and as F. You cannot say that, no, I mean T. It can't be. No, I mean F. No. This is a sign that is vague, that is not clear. So, in case you change your mind, please cross out this and write a clear T or a clear F. Okay? Or even when you make it as a tick and a cross. Again, don't use something like this. These do not take marks. What about the multiple choice questions? The MCQ, you need to read, you need to circle one option only. Do not circle more than one option, A and C, G and A, or whatever, just one option. When it comes to numbers, I'm sure you are all grown-ups, but sometimes we may not focus on when listening. You need to differentiate between 15 and 50, 17 and 70, 19 and 90. So please don't mix those numbers together. Now we come to the reading. Again, some tips, and they are very similar when we're talking about reading. Read the questions first. The same way, when you read the questions first, you will get to the answers more quickly. And if you have a difficult question, keep calm and move forward. Then go back to answer the question that you have missed. It is very similar to what we said in the listening, by the way. And the same thing about the true or false, the T or F questions. Do the same. Don't use those let me say double signs T and F in the same way, or tick and cross in the same way. Okay? And when it comes to multiple choice questions, MCQ, again, please circle or underline only one option, not more than one. Okay? Now let's go to the most important part of our task, which is the writing topics we have got in this course. Guys, you know, we have 3 units in this course. In unit 10, you need to write about 2 tasks, let me say. The first one is the advantages and disadvantages essay, and the second is the letter of advice. In unit 11, you have what is called formal correspondence. This is very general. It could be a letter of application or a letter of complaint, and if it is a letter of complaint, it might be a complaint about a product or a complaint about a service. Now we come to the last unit, unit 12, That's the opinion essay. This is very common in the IELTS, in the national exams, and in your Eng302 exam as well. All right, so these are the units we have got, and these are the writing topics that you are expecting in your final exam. Sorry. Remember that you have to write between 200 and 250 words in all cases. So please try to write a lot to reach at least 200 words in each of these writings. Well, now let's look carefully, let's look closely at the writing tasks. We start by Unit 10, and here we are going to look at the layout of the advantages and disadvantages essay. Gentlemen, we need to write more than one paragraph. In the first paragraph, in paragraph 1, you will need to write an introduction where you will give general background about the topic you're writing about. And then in paragraph 2, you need to mention 3 advantages. 3 advantages will be perfect when you are talking about the advantages of something. In paragraph 3, you will go to the other side and talk about the disadvantages, and again mention 3 disadvantages. In case you are for the advantages, you can make this only 2 disadvantages, but you need to add more details about them. And finally, in the last paragraph here, you need a conclusion where you are going to give a summary of the whole topic, the advantages and the disadvantages, and give your opinion. Very important here. You don't mention your opinion until you have come to the end of the article or the essay. You don't say your opinion here in the introduction or in the advantages section, in the disadvantages section. It comes only in the end of the conclusion, which is completely different from the opinion article that we are going to take in Unit 12. Well, now we need some useful phrases that you can use when you are writing an advantages and disadvantages essay in general. Let's look at the very common phrases that you can use in the introduction. Look at that. Over the last few years, there has been much discussion about the issue of, and here you write the topic that you have in the exam. The topic of using mobile phones at school. The topic of letting little children use tablets. The topic of traveling abroad or studying abroad or whatever. The topic should be here, as it highly affects people's lives. People have different opinions about it. Some people are in favor of it and they have their reasons, while others are against it and they have considerable viewpoints as well. In this essay, I am going to shed light on the advantages and disadvantages of, and you remember or you say the topic once again. As you see, this is very general and can apply for many topics that you might see in the final exam. Well, what about the advantages paragraph? Here you can use these phrases. To start with, the bright side, a major advantage of the topic is that, and you say, here you need to brainstorm before writing and decide what are the advantages of this topic. You need to mention 3, as I said. So this is how you introduce the first one. Then you come to the second one. Another merit. The word merit is a synonym of advantage, and using synonyms is very important when you are writing. You are grade 12 students and you need to show the examiner that you have a good number of vocabulary that will enable you to use the same meaning in different words. We once use the word advantage, the other we use the word merit, and so on. Okay? One more advantage is that, again, remember that with every advantage you need to give details or examples, supporting ideas or supporting sentences about that advantage. Then we come to the disadvantages paragraph. And on the same way, we start by, on the other hand, some people focus on negative aspects. The serious drawback, again, using synonyms is very important. And instead of using the word disadvantage, we use the word drawback, which is very similar in meaning. The serious drawback is that, and you mention it again with examples or details. One more, demerit. Merit, we used it in the advantages. The opposite is demerit, just like advantage and disadvantage. Finally, another disadvantage is that. Okay, so these are very important phrases that you can use to introduce your 3 disadvantages. After that, we come to the conclusion, where you are going to summarize the whole stuff and give your final opinion. This is very general. You can just take it as it is. On the whole, other words can be overall, to sum up, or in conclusion. All these are accepted. The key point surely is that, what is the key point that you have come to by looking at the advantages and disadvantages? Or to put it on balance, to look at the matter in a balanced way, it is clear that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. This is your opinion in the end. So you see that the advantages are more than the advantages, the disadvantages. So you are for that topic. Okay, guys, let's move on. Our second writing, or let's before that look at one of the questions that came on that topic in the previous exams. Here you have that question. Many school students take on part-time jobs during their academic years. There are several advantages, but also some disadvantages. This is very clear. Words like these are going to be keywords that will tell you that this is an advantages and disadvantages article or essay, not an opinion essay. You know, you are asked to write a discursive essay discussing the advantages and disadvantages, etc. Okay. Another question is like that. Having many friends can be a positive thing, but can also be a negative thing. So having positive and negative will take you directly to talking about advantages and disadvantages. Okay. Well, now we come to the minor writing in Unit 10, which is the letter of advice. So as you can see, writing a letter of advice is something that is informal. So you are going to write to a friend or to a family member to give him some advice on a topic that he is asking about. How to structure your letter of advice? It should go like that. You will write an introduction where you need to give the greeting, hi, hello, dear, all these are okay, and then the reason for writing. And the second paragraph, you need to write 3 pieces of advice, and you should follow each piece of them with the expected result. So you ask him to do something, and you tell him if he does that thing, what is the good thing that he will receive in return? What is the result? And in paragraph 3, there will be the ending and signing off. Let's look at some useful phrases as well. In the greeting, you can take this as it is. Dear Noor. Usually we use those names that are suitable for boys and girls, like Noor, Jihad, Iqbal, Sabah, and so on. So, dear Noor, can you replace dear with something else? Yes, you can say hi Noor, hello Noor. This is an informal writing, so it's okay. Then you start by asking about how the person is doing and so on. How are you doing? I hope that everything is okay. And then you can start chatting, talking about general stuff. Did you enjoy your trip to Doha? I like the photos that you posted on Instagram. Well, I'm so glad that you asked me for bits of advice. Here you come to the reason for writing. What is the reason? You are writing to give him some advice about a topic. That is the topic. So he asked for bits of advice about, and you mention the topic here. The topic is not as difficult as it seems. Here you are giving him some reassuring remarks that it is not that big, it is not that bad, don't worry, you can do it, you just need some bits of advice and I'm gonna give them to you. If you follow some certain steps. Next we come to the bits of advice or pieces of advice. As I said, you need 3 pieces with 3 results. First things come first. I'm sorry, we are missing an S here. First things come first. If I were you, this is a good way of giving advice to someone. So, if I were you, I would do so and so. If you do this, you will, and this the result, how to say the result. Another thing is that you should, this is another way of giving advice, you should, you ought to, you'd better, and so on. This will help you, and then you give the result. Finally, that's the third piece of advice you're going to give. A good idea is to, and you give your idea. This will result in, and that's the expected result. Okay, so again, 3 pieces of advice, and with each piece you need to mention the expected result for it. Next, the ending and signing off. This is very general and can be taken as it is. This is what I can say about the topic. I'm sure that if you follow these steps, you will definitely be successful. You can do it, my dear. You see how to end it by giving him some motivational remarks. You can do it. You are great. And so on. And we end by see you or love or yours or cheers, or these are accepted because we are writing in an informal way. Remember, my dear, never write your real name when you are signing here. Write the name you have in the exam sheet. If it is Jihad, write Jihad. If it is Noor, write Noor, and so on. Okay? Well, this is a question from one of the previous exams. It says, your close friend is really worried about studying at university because this means being away from the family and more self-reliant when it comes to studying. Write a short letter in which you give him or her pieces of advice on how to be successful at university. Well, now we come to Unit 11. If you remember, we said it is going to be formal correspondence, and here we might need to write a letter of application, or in other words, cover letter. These are both the same. Or a letter of complaint, and this might be a complaint against a product or against a service. Let's go deeper into that. Well, what is the layout of the cover letter or the letter of application? In paragraph 1, you need to start with a greeting, but this time it's going to be a formal greeting and the reason for writing. In paragraph 2, you need to express your interest in the job and tell about your education, your let me say grades, your degrees, and so on. And you should refer to your CV in the end of this second paragraph. In paragraph 3, you need to talk about your skills and your personal traits, your skills related to work and related to life. And finally, in the last paragraph, you need to reach an ending. Okay, and in the ending you need to give the person you're writing to that you can add any further information in case they want, and you are available for interview at any time they decide. And finally, you sign off by writing yours sincerely or faithfully, as we are going to see in a while. Well, now let's look at some useful phrases as well. In the greeting and telling the reason for writing, you can have this. Gentlemen, again, this is formal writing, so you need dear, no hi, no hello at all, and you need the title. If you are talking to a man, you will use Mr. If you are talking to a woman, you are going to use Ms. And remember, we don't use first names, we don't use full names when writing this. We only use the surname or the last name of the person. So Adams could be Mr. John Adams, or Adams, the lady, could be Sarah Adams. So we need only the surname or the last name of the person after the proper title. For a man, Mr., or for a woman, Ms. If I don't know, if the question didn't tell me about the person I'm writing to, it said apply to the HR manager, and he didn't tell me whether that manager is a man or a woman. So I will start with dear sir / madam, or dear sir or madam. Okay, and then just 2 lines in the introduction. I am. Remember that when we are writing formally, we do not use contractions. So you cannot say I am. No, it is I am. I am writing this letter to apply for the post of, and you write the job that you have in the exam, which I saw advertised on your website yesterday. This is very general. You can change this by saying which I saw advertised on الأيام newspaper, on أخبار الخليج newspaper, or whatever. All right. Next. After that, we come to the second paragraph, where we are going to express our interest in the job, tell about education, and CV. It goes like that, and you can take this as it is. I have been interested in working as a, and you name the job. I have been interested in working as an accountant, as a shop keeper, as whatever, since I was young. This is showing interest. That's why I decided to study a university major that would enable me to become a successful, and name the job another time. I have a degree from the University of Bahrain that makes me a suitable candidate for the position required. Kindly find my enclosed CV. So here I express my interest, then I spoke about my education, I have a university degree, and finally I refer to my CV. Well, let's move to paragraph 3. Here we need to talk in details about our skills and our personal traits, and it goes like that. Again, I am, no I am. I am a good team member. I can work in a team, but I can also work alone, and I can also work away from the team. So whatever type of job I'm required to do, I can do it. If you want me to work alone, I can do it. If you want me to be a part of a team, I can do it. I can use computer and the internet perfectly. Here are the computer skills. I can speak Arabic and English properly as well. Here is the language skills. I am hardworking and energetic. These are the personal traits, as well as self-motivated and reliable. All the personal traits required for any person as a good worker. I can work efficiently under pressure. I have worked in the same field for 2 years. Here I'm adding something related to the experience, which is not a must, in fact, in all jobs, but you can mention it if the job requires any experience. And I would like to pursue my career in this field. I want to continue. I am really eager to join your staff because your institution has an excellent reputation. So I end by giving some good words, sweet words about the company I'm applying for. Next, we come to the last paragraph. That's the ending, where we are going to ask them to ask for any extra or more information, further information, and that we are ready for interview at any time. It goes like that. If you need any further information, please do not hesitate. Again, don't say don't at all. There is no contraction in formal writing. Do not hesitate to contact me. I am available for interview at any time suitable for you. I look forward to hearing from you soon. That is the signing off. And finally, remember, this is very important. Yours sincerely or yours faithfully. When to use these? Gentlemen, if you have started by Dear Mr. Adams or Ms. Adams, you end with yours sincerely. But if you don't know the name of the person you are writing to and you started with Dear Sir or Madam, you should end yours faithfully, and don't mix them, please. Okay? So, sincerely with the person you know and faithfully with the person you do not know. All right? Following that is your signature. Okay? And after the signature, you write your name in clear. Okay, guys? Let's move on. Here is one of the questions that came in the previous exams. You can look at it quickly. You can even pause the video to read it completely, and then we go on. Okay? Let's move on. We're still in Unit 11, guys, and we have done the letter of application or cover letter. What's left? It is the letter of complaint, and the letter of complaint has two forms. It could be a complaint against a product, and this is what we're going to look at first. This is the layout of a letter of complaint about a product. You start by the formal greeting also and the reason for writing, and then you, in the second paragraph, you have to mention the product faults. What are the wrong things about the product? In paragraph 3, you need to refer to the customer service response. What happened when you told the customer service about the problems, the faults with the product? And finally, in paragraph 4, you need to come to the ending where you need to state, you need to say clearly your demands, what you want from the company. Now, do you want an exchange? Do you want a refund or whatever? And the threats. What are the threats? What shall you do if they do not reply correctly to your demands? And finally, the signing off. Let's look at the useful vocabulary related, or the useful phrases, related to such writing topic. For the starting paragraph, again, it is the same, it is formal, so it is Dear Mr. Adams or Ms. Adams, or Dear Sir or Madam if you don't know the name of the person. Here you start by, my name is, you write your name, but not your real name, the name that you have in the exam. So if it says your name is Noor, so my name is Noor Ahmed, or my name is Jihad Ali, whatever. My name is so-and-so, and I am writing to you to express my dissatisfaction. This is very formal. My dissatisfaction with and you name the product, with a laptop, with a digital camera, with a mobile phone, whatever you are talking about, which I bought from your store 4 days ago. You need to say where did you get it and when did you get it. And you end the introduction usually by referring to the receipt. A copy of the receipt is enclosed. In the next paragraph, here you are going to talk about the faults. What are the things that are wrong with the product you are complaining about? This is a very general way of complaining about products, my dear. As soon as I open the package of the laptop or the TV or the digital camera or whatever, I immediately recognized that it was not the same as the one I saw in your brochure. Moreover, it was not the color I wanted. In addition to this, as I tried it, I found out that the quality is very poor, which is shocking to me, as I paid a lot for it, depending on your reputation for selling high quality goods. You can take this as it is. Next, what happened when you reported your complaint? You are not going to complain to the manager directly. Of course, you will try the customer service or the after sales people. This is what happened. What made it worse is your customer service staff. When I spoke to one of them, he responded indifferently and did not show any interest in my complaint. And when I asked him to pay more attention to my issue, he became rude and told me that it was my mistake in the first place to take the product, whatever product, without checking it carefully. I was really upset. This kind of treatment is not appropriate even in a flea market. This is very harsh to say. It seems that you are very angry with the staff. Next, we come to the final paragraph where you are going to state your demands and to threaten them. I definitely need this situation to be solved as soon as possible. Hereby, I demand that you give me another product, another laptop, another TV or whatever, that is exactly like the one in the brochure. If this is not possible, I want to get a full refund of the payment I had already made. Otherwise, I will have to report my complaint to the Customer Protection Authority. Here is the threat. If they do not do what I want, I'm going to file a complaint against them in the CPA or the Customer Protection Authority. The signing off. I look forward to hearing from you soon, which is all the time. And again, the same thing we said about yours sincerely and yours faithfully. I'm sure you still remember it. Now, this is a question from a previous exam. As you can see, you ordered a PlayStation 5 for your niece. However, when you received it, it was a damaged condition. So this is the problem. You have your name here. Your name is Saad. You don't need to write addresses and so on. And it tells you here that you are demanding a solution for the case and so on. And you have the name of the person you are writing to, by the way, Mr. Bilal Ahmed. Okay, so it's going to be Mr. Ahmed. Well, now we come to complaining about a service. It is going to be the same start, greeting, formal greeting, and the reason for writing. And then now it's going to be the service fault. I'm sorry for this. It should be the service fault, not the product fault. And after that, the customer service response. Next, we are going to have the ending as we did before. Let's look at the useful phrases. The same start, dear Mr. or Ms. Adams, or dear Sir or Madam if you don't know the name. I am writing this letter to complain about the bad quality of the services that I received in your hotel. We are going to write about hotel because we don't have things that are general for everything. You can complain about the service you have received in, for example, a beauty salon, in a restaurant, in a cafe, in an aeroplane, or in a hotel. So I took a hotel as an example. And also you need to say when did you go to that hotel, and you refer to the receipt as usual. In paragraph 2, what are the service faults? It goes like that. In your advert, you claim that all the hotel rooms are with sea view. However, when I checked in, when I entered, they gave me a room that overlooks the main street, which caused me a lot of disturbance. Moreover, so that's one point, one complaint. Moreover, the hot water tap was sometimes not working, and the room service was terrible. What is more, the food served in the hotel restaurant was not that of a supposedly five-star hotel. It was of a rather bad quality, which made me eat in other restaurants, and this of course increased the cost of my stay. Last but not least, there was too much noise in the corridor until late hours, which made it difficult to sleep. Well, next, the staff response. In addition, the hotel staff were unfriendly, unhelpful, and even rude when I complained about the bad service. They were almost blaming me for complaining. One of them said rudely, "This is what we have. You'd better adapt." Okay, this is a very harsh response. Here we come to the last paragraph. I look forward to receiving a 50% refund of the money I paid. That is the demand, along with a letter of apology. Otherwise, here we come to the threat. I will have to take legal action against your hotel. Legal action. He didn't say where he is going to report exactly, but he said that he's going to take legal action. And then we come to the normal ending. I look forward to hearing from you soon. And if I started with dear Mr., I will end with yours sincerely. If I started with dear sir or madam, I will end with your faithfully, then the signature followed by the name. Well, that's a question from a previous exam. Last month you celebrated your sister's graduation party in a well-known hotel. So that's the hotel. You have the name of the manager, Mr. John Smith, and you have your own name, Jihad Ali. Okay? Now we come to the last unit, unit 12. We have to write an opinion essay. This is very important in all writings, guys. You are now just one step away from university, and you will have to write a lot of opinion essays in your studies. What is the layout of the opinion essay, and how different it is from the advantages and disadvantages essay? In paragraph 1, the introduction, you need to give background information and you need to state your opinion clearly. This is the first difference between the advantages and disadvantages essay and the opinion essay. There, you mentioned your opinion in the very end of the article, in the last line of the essay. But here, you need to say it from the introduction. Your opinion will be there, everywhere in the article or the essay. So, from the start, from the beginning, you will say your opinion clearly, in a clear way. And then, in paragraph 2, you are going to talk about argument number 1, argument for your opinion, okay? And you need to add details or examples about it. In paragraph 3, you need to add one more argument, argument number 2, with details and examples as well. What about the next? In the next one, paragraph 4, you need to add a counter argument, but this you are not going to be objective, just telling the reader about the arguments and counter arguments. No, you will mention your arguments first and try to convince the reader, And when you come to the counter argument, you will just mention them in order to reply for them, to prove that they are not correct, to refute. That's the word. Refuting is telling the reader that this argument is not good and my opinion is more logical than this. Okay? After that, we come to the last paragraph, which is the conclusion, and here you need to summarize and restate your opinion. So again, your opinion, gentlemen, is there from the start to the end, and that is the main difference between the advantages and disadvantages essay and the opinion essay. Okay, let's move on and look at the useful phrases. For the introduction, you can use this. Over the last few years, there has been much discussion about the issue of, and you mentioned the topic, as it highly affects people's life. People have different opinions about it. Some people are in favor of it and they have their reasons, while others are against it and they have considerable viewpoints as well. As far as I am concerned, remember, here you are going to state your opinion clearly. And remember, you are writing formally. All our writings are formal, gentlemen, except the letter of advice. Except the letter of advice, which is informal. All the other writings are formal in style. Okay? As far as I am concerned, I am convinced that, I believe that, I strongly believe that. All these are different options to say the same thing. That the topic is very important for many reasons. So that's the first paragraph. The second one. The second paragraph, here you need to talk about, to state, to express your first argument and the details about it. It can go like that. To begin with, these are things you can use to build on, gentlemen. You are not just going to memorize this and write it and it's old. No, these are just the foundations for your writing. You need to add more for them. To begin with, I believe that, and you say, what do you believe in? Has the thing we are talking about has a positive effect on what? It depends. Here again, you need to brainstorm before you start writing. You need to determine, you need to specify the points that you are going to talk about in your arguments. Okay? That is to say, it helps. What does it help in? For example, and you give an example. Added to this, these are very important, let me say, conjunctions or linkers between sentences to put your arguments in order, in the right order. It proved to be useful for, what is it useful for exactly? Moreover, a survey done on 1,000 people in Bahrain proved that so and so. Here you refer to surveys and studies. When you're writing your opinion, you say you should mention this. It could be here in the second paragraph and also in the last paragraph, or sorry, in the fourth paragraph, in the counter argument. It is very good to refer to some studies and surveys. Okay? Even if you are not sure of them, we are not going to check if those studies are correct or not, but we are going to judge your language. Okay? In paragraph 3, it's going to be the second argument, and it goes in the same way. In addition to that, you say, in other words, for instance, and so on. Try to use more than one way of expressing the same thing. So here we said, for example, here we said in, for instance. Here we said added to that, here we said in addition to that, and so on. Okay? Don't use the same phrases all the time. Try to use different ones to have a variety of expressions. Next, paragraph 4, the counter argument and refutation or refuting. On the other hand, opponents, those people who are against, argue that, what is their argument, the counter argument they have, has some disadvantages. First of all, they say that, what do they say exactly? Has a negative impact on. So here we are going to mention the topic, and then we say what the negative impact it has. However, here is the refutation or refuting. What is my reply for that? However, I think that this is not true. That's my judgment first, and then I'll give reason for it. I don't say just my judgment without giving a reason for it. I need to support it by reasons and details. Because so and so. In contrast, again is what they say. I see that, and I add one more refuting for that argument. Finally, a recent study in Bahrain concluded that, and I refer to a study. So I refer to a survey in the second paragraph, and I refer to a study in the fourth paragraph, in paragraph 4. Here we come to the end, to the conclusion, where we are going to summarize and restate our opinion. It goes like that. To sum up, there is no doubt that nothing in life is perfect. Everything in life can be dark or bright. This is very general about things that are against each other and so on. It depends on the way we deal with it. Personally, I simply believe that the disadvantages greatly outweigh the advantages. That is simply why I support, and you mentioned the topic. However, we should make the best use of the positive points and avoid the drawbacks. So that's how to end such a writing. Okay? Well, that's an example from a previous exam, gentlemen. Your English teacher has asked you to write an article on the negative effects of social media and technology on relationships. So he wants you to focus on the negative effects. It's not going to be a balanced writing where you mention the negative and the positive. No, he wants you to focus on the negative ones. So you need to write an opinion article. It's not advantages and disadvantages article. Okay? Guys, I hope you have learned something from this, and I hope this is going to help you in your final exam. If you need to read more on what we have done in this reading, in this revision session, please, you can scan this to download a full revision booklet. That's the picture of it. Just scan this QR code and you will get it. Thank you very much and good luck.